And thanks so much for keeping it locked right here on the Earl Hall Show. Make sure you do share this out on all your social media networks. We'd love to have you do that for us. And make sure you visit the website, www.earlhallshow.com. Follow us everywhere online, Twitter, Facebook, the whole nine yards. I've got with me on the phone today Paris Procopis. I pronounced his name right. How you doing today, Paris?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show.
Not a problem. I only asked you like 3 times how to pronounce your last name, but we got it.
You did just fine. You did fine.
Well, Paris, I know you heard the first segment we had with Dale Koyenga, and there's so much obviously that people don't know about in regards to this group. Is it SOS Wauwatosa or is it Wauwatosa SOS? Is that how do you?
I think it's Wauwatosa SOS. It's like support our schools Wauwatosa, and they shorten it to SOS. Kind of a good marketing tactic, but it's but they're known as SOS.
Yeah, call for a fire when there is no fire. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. All right. With this particular group, I know based on your blog that you sent over to me, and through reading that this group has been doing some things, probably not just in Wauwatosa, obviously, but probably in some other areas as well. But give us a little bit of insight to this, I'm going to call it radical left-wing group that portrays itself as bipartisan.
Okay. Well, it's a little bit of background. It's my biggest issue with them is that they have almost unprecedented access to things like the superintendent emailing and almost promoting them through his official emails. One or two of the school board members doing similar and things like that, and they're also in the schools during the day or what have you. I even have anecdotal evidence of faculty members handing out SOS information to students. Here, take this home to your parents, have them sign it because we're going to lose everything. And these are high school students. They have other things to worry about. Now they're freaking out that they might lose all their school funding or whatever. And just a lot of misinformation going out there because they're promoting themselves as, quote, nonpartisan, end quote. And they're using that word ad nauseum, every other sentence. We're nonpartisan, we're nonpartisan, we're nonpartisan. When in that old cliche, thou dost protest too much, well, yeah. Usually when someone takes that much time to say they're nonpartisan, they're probably very partisan. And I uncovered and I discovered that this was the case here.
Well, when you have this group inside the schools and they're, walking lockstep with the superintendent and some of the faculty in these schools, this isn't something that is generally allowed, is it?
No, it typically is not. I mean, if I were to go in there and ask to pass out flyers from the NRA on gun safety, I'd be laughed out of the building. We have a very, very. This is a very partisan debate. There are multiple sides to this issue, so they're taking sides on a major political issue, and the school should be neutral. I shouldn't be allowed to promote my side either. Schools are a place for learning, not a place for this. And they're free to do what they want. I actually commend their activism. I think it's important that everybody's involved. That's why we're a good society, because of our republic.
Sure. Absolutely.
But they should raise money and so they can pay for postage to mail out a letter to all the parents that they know, so they can say whatever they need to say, whatever their message is. They shouldn't be allowed all this free access. I mean, they use the Fisher Building for their meetings. The Fisher Building is one of the main buildings in Wauwatosa Public Schools. And
is that right there on North Avenue? Is that building? Is that Wauwatosa building on North Avenue?
Yeah, about 122nd and North Avenue. That's where there's a charter school in there as well. So, but it's they're saying, our school's going to fall apart because we can't allow vouchers because that's taking money away from our schools. Well, how's it taking away from the schools if you're 100% plus?
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, if you're going to say it's taking money away, and I said this with State Representative Dale Koyenga, I live in Milwaukee. We send our kids to Wauwatosa Public Schools, and we have to pay a couple $100 every year. So how are they losing money from this over 1,000 kids that are bringing money into the Wauwatosa Public Schools? That is ridiculous. I don't understand that argument.
Exactly. Well, and look at it from the other way. Then they're saying, well, we're taking money away from that Milwaukee public school. Well, technically you're not, because let's say 1,000 students leave MPS. That's 1,000 less students to pull on their resources. So
exactly.
They can actually, maybe even have smaller classroom sizes, things like that. So their logic just doesn't work, and
and we're only talking about 1,000 kids. That's all we're talking about anyway. I mean, how many thousands of kids go to Milwaukee public schools? Yeah,
and sometimes the conservatives get a knock on them because they don't care about the poor, blah blah blah. All that hyperbole. But here's the giving opportunities to kids that otherwise wouldn't have it, and now suddenly they're doing something absolutely horrible. And what it comes down to is you're changing the status quo, and the status quo is, I dare say it, unions controlling the agenda in schools and everything else. Exactly. And you move away from that, and suddenly the sky is going to fall. And this is now the second time the sky hasn't fallen, even though they said it would. So, well,
with this group SOS in Wauwatosa here, what was their major gripe last night as they were sitting there talking to Dale Koyenga and State Senator Leah Vuckmer? Why were their panties in a bunch?
Well, I mean, at first, when the group first started, it was about the proposed cuts. So now the proposed cuts are no longer an issue because they've actually increased funding. Now it's, oh my God, it's vouchers, and you're taking resources away from public schools. Well, that's assuming that the money that's been set aside for vouchers, if vouchers were cut out of the budget, that's assuming that would go back to public schools, and that wouldn't. It's not even, and going back isn't the right word because it wasn't earmarked for public schools to begin with. But they were basically making a point that vouchers are affecting our schools. They're afraid, almost like they're afraid of a mass exodus. I mean, if vouchers make all your
mass exodus
school
from where?
system, there's an issue.
A mass exodus out of Wauwatosa public schools? Are they worried about a mass exodus out of Wauwatosa? It's one of the best school districts around.
Yeah, I support vouchers, and my kids are staying in Wauwatosa Public Schools because it's a phenomenal school system. And Dale hit on it earlier in your interview with him. It's parents. I think the biggest thing is the parents in Wauwatosa are so involved, where you don't have that in Milwaukee Public Schools and stuff like that, which is sad. And I think that's the bigger question: is how do you legislate parents to give a damn about their kids? Pardon my language, but it's.
That's all right. We're an internet show.
Yeah, that works. FCC is different, but and I applaud their activism. But when you approach something, when you approach your legislators and stuff like that, and say it's our way or the highway, you do what we want or else, and then they actually make it so it's better than what they want, and then they move the bar. No, you got to do this now. And it's instead of having a dialogue, okay, what can we do? Okay, give us some reasons why we think charter schools are good or private schools are good or whatever. And they're making it sound like only public schools are educating our next generation. That was something that one parent brought up that was almost verbatim like that. Public schools educate our future. Well, so do private schools. So do internet schools. So do homeschoolers. They're all educating the future. But they're making it all about resources. When Dale mentioned about output, they're so focused on the input. Money is going to solve all our problems, but there's school systems around the country that are doing a heck of a lot better with a lot less than resources.
Yeah, and it's like I even told State Representative Dale Koyenga, there's no amount of money that's going to satisfy them. And he even said they kept moving the bar. They asked for 100. He gave them 250 extra per student. So it wasn't about the money. A lot of times people want to put forth an argument thinking you're not going to go along with that. And then once you give in to that or say, yeah, we'll do that and we'll do more, it's like, oh, well, we got to come up with something else to argue or debate over when it all comes down to a bunch of BS. The thing that is really getting me hot right now, I mean, Phil Ertl, he's the superintendent of Wauwatosa Public Schools, right?
Right, and he's actually done a really good job. So over the past many years.
He has, but to hear that he's doing stuff like this, Phil Ertl, everybody, Phil, Phil, last name Ertl, the superintendent of Wauwatosa Public Schools, that is allowing these groups to come in and give out information to your kids. You need to contact this guy.
Yeah, and in his defense, a little bit, I think the group has gone a little bit rogue. I think they took it and ran with it, and it's interesting. I was invited to come to the meeting. The leader of the group graciously invited me. Hey, come! We'd love to hear your perspective. And I went to the meeting, and I sat outside their meeting room. I got there, and I sat outside the meeting room for about 20 minutes, and I just listened. And I felt like I was in the middle of Madison during the Act 10 debate. It was people spewing venom. It was awful, and how parents who support vouchers don't care about public schools and that kind of rhetoric. Well, using that type of reverse logic, I can say, okay, then their side must be all racist because they don't want to help poor inner city children get into better schools. And that's hyperbole that just doesn't work. I would never say that about them. So they need to just calm down and let's work together to educate our kids. And some kids are better off in a private school. Some kids are better off.
I'll say it. If you won't say it, I'll say it. I said it with State Representative Dale Kuyinga. It's like if you don't support charter schools, if you don't support these schools that are coming up to help your kids, you're not supporting your kids. We just need to put yard signs out everywhere. If you don't support charter schools, you don't support your own children. That would start up a stir, but this is literally what it's coming down to me. It infuriates me that someone would say, no, you've got to leave your kid in a substandard school, a subperforming school, a failing school. You've got to leave them there because that's the right thing to do. It's bullcrap.
Well, last night I made that comment. I used their own logic, their own liberal logic against them. I said, why should only parents with means have the ability to send their kids to private school? Usually I'm terrible, but I did it, and then it was interesting to see how respectful. There were a lot of folks in there, and how respectful people on our side were, and their side was carrying on their people, everything. They made a comment, but they were starting to interrupt Representative Kuyinga and Senator Buchmeier and Congressman Sensenbrenner a couple times, and it was getting a little heated. And then Leah finally ended, and she said that hey, you guys you guys asked us, we listened, and we followed through, and we made things. We were able to find the money to add to the public school budget. And that type of thing. And she even said, you guys moved the bar, sort of, I'm paraphrasing, that type of thing. Yeah. And she was very graceful and eloquent the way she said it. But of course, they posted on their Facebook page that Senator Leah Buchmeier yelled at us. Well, hello, says the group that has been yelling at Leah Buchmeier now at every meeting she's been at.
Right.
And she was not yelling. No way. And there's video out there of her. She was definitely not yelling. She was being her graceful self, and she's done a great job. And it is a tough job because she goes out and said that, we're not the federal government. We can't print money. We have a finite pot. This is what we have. Yeah. So we have to choose not only between education, but there's, I think she said transportation and other things, all the other things they have to do with these limited resources. And so she was very open in that. And
Paris, is there a next step? What is the next stage of this whole thing? Or do you have any insight to that? What do they do now?
I'm not sure. My whole fight right now with the board and possibly the superintendent. And the superintendent and I had a phone call, and he was very, very. We have a good relationship, so it's not nothing like that. We had a good conversation. We did disagree on a few things, and there's actually, frankly, some things I agreed with him on. And my whole thing
does he feel like he was tricked? Does he feel like he was tricked with this whole SOS group?
You'd have to ask him. I don't know.
Okay.
You'd have to get into what his feelings are. I mean, I just don't. Yeah, I would venture to say they need to stop promoting this group in the schools. The PTA websites, the whatever. They have a Facebook page. Although, mind you, you're making an impact when you've been blocked from a Facebook page. I'm not allowed to post on there or anything. And they blocked several other people that are making comments. Anybody who's contrary to what they're saying. And I was not rude. I was not condescending. I would put up some facts and to refute what they're saying and other things. Obviously, they're not happy with me that I wrote the editorial that I wrote, but it needed to happen. And I'm certain that there's some parents in that group that truly are, hey, they believe everything, so they're, hey, I'm concerned about my kids, and I don't fault them for that. But people need to be informed that there are multiple sides to this. And
Absolutely.
There is. I mean, heck, I've even had the same discussion with my wife. We've talked about that. Before this, I didn't really understand vouchers. I didn't understand charter schools and all that stuff. So now I'm becoming very informed.
And they're a good thing. As I keep saying, I'll say over, I'm very proud that my kids are a part of the voucher program, that they're able to go to Wauwatosa Public Schools because that's my choice. It's my choice to be able to send my kids there. And it burns me up sometimes. And I said this before. It's like these people on the far left or just the left or whatever, progressive, however you want to label them, have all these, these choice things for women with unborn children, but the children that are alive get no choice. It boggles the mind when you look at this.
It's fascinating. Well, and another point that brought up last night, because I'm the shy, quiet type in front of people. I had this. I mentioned, and we have to face it. Education's changing.
Yeah,
there is going to be more competition in education. Public schools are going to have to be able to compete, or they're going to fail.
Yeah, a lot of people are opting out of the public school systems altogether. They're opting to homeschool. A lot more and more people are doing the homeschool thing.
There's internet schools too. There's other things too.
Yeah, all of that are available to everyone, and it's a threat to the powers that be, especially in the union. With the teachers union, it's a threat to their longevity in regards to them having employment. But the thing is, we live in the United States of America. Competition is great in this case, competition is outstanding for the sake of our kids in order to have them have a better education.
Exactly. But if you dare disagree with them, you're labeled I've been labeled a right-wing nut job and whatever. And I'm actually pretty pragmatic.
Welcome to the club.
But hey, so I wear it with a badge of honor. But because I just look at the facts as I see them, and I want a good future for my children and that type of thing. And they had this young lady speaking last night. I think she was probably maybe 13, 14 years old. She was so eloquent. She was so graceful when she was talking. She made everybody in the room smile. A great girl. Wow. But unfortunately, I feel like she was coached a little bit with what she was saying, and because she's buying into the rhetoric, so she is concerned, and if that's all you hear, you're going to be concerned. But I'm giving them another side of the story and say, hey, it's not as bad as they're making it out to be. And even if there were cuts, Wauwatosa has been very responsibly run. We could have absorbed a certain amount of cuts without changing a thing. Yeah. But, and even so, we've got to find ways to do more with less. We need to get more for our money as far as, quality of education. That's the thing. And schools are great, but they can always be better.
Absolutely.
And
look, Paris,
and money is not going to answer that question.
Absolutely. Well, Paris, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. It was last minute, literally down to the wire, and I thank you and State Representative Dale Kayenga for taking this time out today. It means a lot, and I know this information needs to get out, and I'm hoping everyone will share this. But thank you so much, Paris, for being able to come on the Earl Hall Show with us today, and you're welcome back anytime, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Bye.
Have a great day today. Hey, everyone, this has been – I hope you guys are going to take this information and use it, and rightfully so. Share this show Give it out to people that you know need to hear this information. I thoroughly appreciate everyone that supports the Earl Hall Show. You guys have been great. And because of the support that I've been getting, I've been able to do so many things. And the major announcement that I have to make today is we're launching a brand new talk show. It's going to launch the first Wednesday in July, and it's going to air every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. It's going to come on right after the Earl Hall Show, which comes on Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock. But every Wednesday, you're going to be able to hear the Three Kings right here off of, well, we're going to develop websites and all that kind of stuff. But you want to follow us on the Facebook page. If you go to facebook.com/3, that's the word, Three Kings, MILW. Facebook.com/3 Kings. Is it Three Kings or the Three Kings? I don't even know. I've got to look with that. But you will find it if you follow the Earl Hall Show on Facebook. If you follow me on my personal Facebook page, you will be able to see that and join in. I have two outstanding hosts that are going to be joining me on the show. We're going to have E.N.C. Jordan. You guys are used to hearing the E.N.C. Jordan Report every day here on the Earl Hall Show. And we're also going to be joined by our newfound friend, Chris Lawrence is going to be with us, and we are the Three Kings. It's facebook.com/3 Kings. That's the word, Three Kings, MILW. Make sure you go and you follow that Facebook page. I would love to get your thoughts and opinions on that. It's going to be an outstanding, dynamic show that we're going to be bringing to you. So please make sure that you follow us with that. It's been an outstanding show for me today. I hope it's been good for you as well. I'm going to be back right here tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And at 11 tomorrow, we're going to be doing a launch broadcast, a teaser broadcast of the Three Kings at 11 a.m. So right after you listen to the Earl Hall Show, you're going to be able to listen to the Three Kings right here out of my studio. I call it Studio 3. Right here in the great city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Follow me at my website, earlhallshow.com, and you'll be able to get to everywhere that I am on the net. Thanks a lot for sharing the show. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great Wednesday. Or Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. Have a great Tuesday. See you tomorrow, Wednesday.